Hi, welcome to yoga. This is a class I like to do if I don't have a whole lot of time during the day. We'll find our feet about shoulder width apart, lengthen through the spine, and then inhale the shoulders straight up to the ears and then drop them back and down. Opening the palms wide into our mountain pose or Tadasana. Standing on our mat, getting used to slowing down our breath. We're going to inhale the hands straight up to the sky and exhale, pull them down to the heart together. Inhale straight up, exhale, pull them down. Just back and forth, moving with our breath. Coming to stillness here, taking a deep breath, and then exhale, find our chair pose. Hips float back. We can keep the arms extended or at the heart. In this first part of the class, we're just warming up. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, chair. And if we need to rest the hands on the knees, that's perfectly fine too. Inhaling tall, exhaling chair or Utkatasana. I'm going to tuck my t-shirt in here. And inhale nice and tall. Exhale down, forward fold. Really taking care to lengthen through the spine, so bending the knees generously into the belly and shaking the head no, relaxing the neck. Let's just imagine all those little vertebrae in our spine aligning and lengthening. We'll grab either elbow here, letting those arms shift from side to side, finding a ragdoll position. Let those hands fall directly onto the earth and then kind of bend one knee at a time, stretching the hips. And it's always okay if we can't touch the floor. We'll walk the fingertips over to the left side of the mat. Coming into a little bit of a twist, we'll come back to center and then over to the right side of the mat. And gently come back to center. Just relaxing the neck a little bit more. Bending the knees, we'll sweep the arms up, reverse swan diving as we inhale. Find a little back bend and then exhale back down. Inhale, reverse swan diving up. And exhaling, swan diving down, forward fold. Again, finding a flow here. Really calibrating the body, and we use the core to lift us up and then lower us back down. If we're able, let's grab onto the ankles here, pull ourselves into a tight forward fold, and then release, starfishing the hands, shoulder width apart. We'll step back into our downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. We'll lift those hips straight up toward the sky, cycling out the heels. And then inhale forward, stacking the shoulders above the wrists, finding our plank pose. And exhale back, downward dog. Inhale, plank, core is engaged. Exhale, down dog. Each time that I do a yoga practice, I like to incorporate core strengthening poses, just because it's so important. We're going to plant the left foot up between the hands, dropping the right knee down, or we can raise the knee up off the floor if we'd like to advance, and we'll find kind of a lunge. And then step back, downward dog. Inhale forward, plank, and push off the toes there, find our crocodile, and then open up, upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. And then walk to the top, forward fold. We'll inhale, half lift, exhale, inhale, reverse swan diving up. Nice deep breath, exhale, chair. Inhaling up again, and exhale, down, forward fold. Stepping back this time with the left foot, we'll inhale, hands to heart for our lunge. And then stepping both feet back, downward facing dog, heart toward the earth, hips toward the sky. Find our plank. And then exhale, crocodile. And then curl those toes, upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Walking to the top, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, core is engaged. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Nice deep breath, little back bend. Exhale, chair. Inhale, tall. Hopefully we're a little bit warmer now. And now practicing our balance pose. Bringing our left foot to our ankle, calf, or thigh. We'll find our tree pose. Whatever we'd like to do with our arms, we can keep the hands at the heart or we can inhale them up above the head. I love incorporating balance poses into every practice because it helps me concentrate and focus. It feels very grounding. We'll gently lower that foot onto the mat, switching legs, bringing our weight into our left leg, and then bringing the right foot to the ankle, calf, or thigh. Hands can go wherever we'd like. Finding a focal point here as we breathe. We'll exhale, hands to heart, gently drop that foot down, kind of shake out the ankles. Preparing for our warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. We'll step back with the left foot, angling those left toes about 45 degrees. Right knee stacked above the ankle. Extending the arms out across the room. Engage the core, feel that pull from fingertip to fingertip. When we're ready, straightening the right knee, shifting the hips back, reaching those right fingertips forward, and then dropping them down toward the earth, we'll find our triangle pose. Trikonasana, we're stretching out that right leg, engaging the core, keeping that hand a little bit elevated off the floor. And then inhale, warrior 2, and quickly shifting the shoulders and hips, squaring up into our warrior 1 pose. Palms are facing one another. That stretch in the hip should have intensified a little bit here. And then we'll exhale, hands down to the heart. Pivoting the back toes, engaging the core, we'll step up, back into our mountain pose. And then we'll switch sides. Stepping back with the right foot this time, lengthening the arms out across the room. Breathing, gazing into the middle fingertip on the left hand. When we're ready, moving into our triangle pose, straightening that left knee, shifting the left fingers straight forward, and then dropping the hand down toward the earth. And just notice that the hand isn't touching the earth, the core is engaged, so we're kind of hovering here. If we need to put a block or a book or any kind of support there underneath that left hand, we can do that, but we just don't want the right shoulder to sink into the neck. We'll inhale up, warrior 2, bending the knee, and then pivot into our warrior 1. Gazing forward confidently. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll pivot the left toes so both toes are kind of parallel, finding a wide-legged straddle stretch, and then fold forward, kind of relaxing the neck here. We're going to walk the hands over to the left foot, pointing those left toes. We'll stretch out the back of that leg. Slowly pointing the toes back to center. We'll walk the hands over to the right foot, pointing the right toes. Just really savoring these stretches here, really feeling the muscles, listening to the body, never forcing anything. We'll gently walk back to center, heel toe the feet back to where they were about hip width apart into our forward fold. Clasping the hands together at the hips behind our back, we're just going to gently lift the hands away from the back into our double angle pose, finding a heart opener here. Taking a couple breaths, and then we'll starfish the hands, stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward plank. Then we'll breathe here for a little bit. If we'd like to hover, kind of bounce back and forth, that can be kind of fun. Making sure to press directly into the earth. We'll exhale, back hips toward the sky, down dog. Dropping the right knee onto the mat. We're going to open the heart into our kneeling side plank or just regular side plank. We can stack those feet there as long as the hips are lifted, the core is engaged. The left hand is up in the sky. We'll drop that hand back onto the mat and then pivot onto the other side. So being careful here, slowly shifting the hips over so we can find our full or kneeling side plank on the opposite side. From our side plank, we'll slowly drop that hand onto the mat into a neutral spine and then send the hips back toward the heels for our extended child's pose or balasana. Stretching those arms out across the mat, letting the forehead rest there on the earth. Let's just take a moment here just to slow down, practice gratitude. Let's inhale back into our neutral spine and then start our cat-cow flow, arching the spine into our cat. Exhale down into our cow. Vidalasana, always starting with the tailbone, tucking the tailbone under, letting the spine reach up toward the ceiling, chin comes into the chest, and then tailbone curls out, belly comes down toward the earth, and chin comes up toward the sky. I love the cat-cow flow, so I always incorporate it somewhere into my practice. It just feels so good to move the spine. We'll meet together in our neutral spine on our next inhale. And then we'll find some hip circles, just kind of playing with the hips, stretching them out. Fluidity here in our flow. We can go around in one direction and then shift in the opposite direction. It's just whatever feels good for you today. Coming into our neutral spine again. Extending the right arm long, straight across the mat. Left heel comes directly behind us, preparing for our spinal balance crunches, crunching the elbow into the knee on the exhale. And we'll move through this 4 times. Exhaling, elbow to knee, inhale, extend. Exhale, hand and knee back to the mat. And then inhale, left arm out, right heel out. Crunching on the exhales, extending on the inhales. And just go at your own pace. Take your time. Drop the hand and knee back to the mat. Send the hips back toward the heels into a kneeling position. We'll take a moment here to just kind of round the shoulders. Inhaling, hands to sky, and exhale down to the heart, breathing. Let's just tune in to our new foundation. Crossing the ankles, sending the hips back behind, we'll find our easy seated pose or Sukhasana. We'll anchor the right fingertips over to the side of our hips and extend through the left arm into our seated lateral flexion, opening up the space between the ribs, and exhale down. Inhale, opposite arm up, and then exhale, fingertips back to the floor. And we'll just move side to side, back and forth. Coming back to stillness, we're going to extend the legs out across the mat, hugging the right knee into the chest. We'll inhale nice and tall, and then slowly pivot the torso into the knee, giving it a hug, finding our seated twist. No matter how long my practice is, I love to do some kind of twist. We'll exhale back to center and open up on the other side. And then switch legs, hugging the left knee into the chest. Twisting through the torso. We'll support ourselves with the left hand behind. And just breathing here. And on the next inhale, slowly coming back to center. Opening up on the opposite side for a reverse twist here. And then back to center again. We're going to find our inverted tabletop, bending both knees, planting the hands behind us. Feet are about hip width apart. Hands are directly beneath the shoulders and all the fingers are facing toward the body. We're going to lift those hips directly up off the floor. Engaging the core and the glutes. And then exhale down, give ourselves a nice big hug. And we'll rock back, knees to chest. Just kind of rock side to side, massaging the lower back. Planting the left foot on the floor, right foot up in the air. We'll cross the right foot over and hug that left knee into the chest. This is our pretzel pose or figure 4 position. It's a great way to stretch the lower back. We'll plant that left foot back on the floor and then gently press into the right knee, opening up the hip. Starting to slow our breath. Straighten that right leg into the air. Switch legs, right knee is bent, left ankle crosses over. Then we'll hug that right knee into the chest. Just taking a few breaths here. Stretching the lower back, especially if we've been sitting or standing for a long time. Our back probably is asking for a stretch. We'll plant that right foot back down and gently press into the left knee. Releasing the hand from that knee, we'll come into our Savasana position. Our feet are about mat width apart, palms are facing up by our sides, and we're just taking 5 deep inhales and exhales. And especially when I'm on a time crunch, I always do Savasana, and I make myself do at least 5 full inhales and exhales. Start to wiggle the fingers and toes, roll the wrists and ankles, let the head fall from side to side, hugging the knees into the chest. And on the next inhale, just rocking up into our easy seated position. Taking a deep breath here. Exhale through the mouth. Bringing the hands to the heart on the next inhale, pressing up. I am present. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhaling, I am open. Exhale. Inhale, hands up. I am awake. Exhale. Peace. And thank you so much for practicing today with me. I hope this was helpful, even though it was very short. I would be happy to hear from you, so go ahead and leave a comment if you would like to try a different class. Have a great day, and thank you for practicing.